Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to American Truck Simulator. I'm Martin Wenzel. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm going to be hauling this, I believe it's 22,000 pound road roller to Wilmington, North Carolina. We're going to be going to the Kiewit there. It's probably going to be a construction site. That job is, we've got 35 and a half hours remaining. We're going to make $953. It's the lightest load I could find out of Memphis, and I'm trying to go for light loads. This truck doesn't have a ton of power. It's a T680. Not sure why. But here we are at Caterpillar. We're picking this up, and let's hit the road. Been playing a ton. It's already made the last video just a couple days ago, probably 2-3 days ago, and now filming this one. Already a week gone by in game, almost a week gone by. Traveled all the way over. Furthest west I went was Yuma. So last episode I believe we were in Florida, stopped in Tallahassee, made it all the way back through Texas, through New Mexico. I think my job took me to Raton, New Mexico, and then took a job, I think, down to Yuma. And obviously just been working my way back east again. And this will be the first time going all the way to North Carolina in the Coast to Coast mod. Frames are struggling a little bit here. Should be getting better as we get out of the city. I'm not sure why they are struggling, and that maybe it's just trying to do the capture and everything. Nope, they're gonna get up to 60. There we go. So I'm doing pretty good on money, almost $13,000. Gonna have to get gas pretty soon, about a little bit less than half a tank. Got, looks like a downed plane up here. Whoa, jeez. That's the second time I've had to drive off into the median to avoid a car slamming on the brakes in front of me. That was my fault, though. I should have been slowing down. But yesterday, driving down the highway here towards Memphis, and car just pulled in front. I'm going 75. Car switches lanes, slams on the brakes right in front of me, and I had to go into the median just to avoid that. There was no way. It was pretty ridiculous. I don't know why he was moving over. No reason. And this new traffic mod I've been using is pretty good with that, actually, where cars don't do that too often. They will every once in a while. They usually merge pretty sensibly, though. So we're gonna be driving through the deep south here. We're right now in Tennessee, driving out of Memphis. You already saw a few of those mileage markers that I think are really cool. That was an idea I always had probably a year ago. I was thinking, it's like, oh, I'd love to put the mileage markers. And these ones, I saw the first one was 5, and then it went to 10, and this one was 20, so they usually go every 10. And I was thinking, oh, maybe they go 5 in this state, but we'll see. Coast to Coast is doing pretty good out here. Well, there you go, Waldoxie State Park. And that guy just disappeared. Holly Springs. That actually, Holly Springs was a supply depot for Ulysses S. Grant's army during the American Civil War. And it was surrendered, it was captured by Confederates. It was surrendered by Colonel Murphy of, I believe, the 8th Wisconsin. And I'm being from Wisconsin, I think I wrote a paper on the 8th Wisconsin. 8th Wisconsin being famous for its mascot, Old Abe. Famous bald eagle from northern Wisconsin. And it was their mascot. And then later, as the National Guard units, the Wisconsin National Guard unit adopted that as its mascot. And that became the Screaming Eagles, and then eventually that became the 101st Airborne Division. So that's where you get that Screaming Eagle, emblem for the 101st Airborne Division is the 8th Wisconsin and Old Abe from the American Civil War. And of course, Colonel Murphy, who was drunk while on garrison duty at the massive supply depot for the Union Army at Holly Springs. So a little bit of history there for you. What do we got here? Sherman and Patotak. I'm wondering who that city of Sherman is named after. Wonder if it's named after the Civil War general or not. Yeah, we are in Tennessee. Definitely don't see, I don't know how many, I'm sure there aren't too many Shermans in the Deep South. They don't like them down there too much. We're on the Interstate 22. I believe, let me just shift the view here. Alright, I thought we were kind of going south, but we are kind of going southeasterly direction right now, and then I think we'll link up with the 20 or the 30, go through Atlanta, and then we'll go up into North Carolina. Definitely not going to be able to get this job done today. Well over almost 800 miles have to drive, and even if we're going 70 the whole way, we're not going to make that 800 club. The lights turn off as we go past Tupelo. I don't know why I always thought it was Tulepo for some reason. I always read it as Tulepo. My eye sees it as Tulepo. Whoa! Got a little lockup there. Okay, this is the weirdest thing with this truck, is that driving to Memphis, and yesterday, the day before, using this truck cab before this job, taking on this load, what is wrong with the frame rate? I do not know what is causing that. And I think, yeah, I'm definitely going to have to do some more experimentation. It must be Slavin's mountain and vegetation packs, and maybe in his road pack, you see what we got. You know, the beautiful vegetation stuff, that's all Slavin 93. And I have been experimenting. I turned it all off when I drove last few days, but I wasn't seeing much of a frame rate improvement or loss. Ooh, that kind of scared me. Gotta pull in for inspection at the weigh station. But there have been, yeah, some places, Kingman, Arizona is another one like that, where you're driving through Kingman, it just locks up. Frame rates drop to 0, freezes up like that, and that's something that I haven't had a problem with until basically the latest update to the game, and so I'm wondering what mod is still messing with that. All the Slavin stuff has been updated since the update, though, so yeah, well, I guess we'll never know. Should be pretty light, maybe 60,000 pounds. 55,000. Typical load. I was just reading about. I was reading that article on that new Shell spaceship or whatever they called it that just did a drive from Jacksonville to somewhere out west. Maybe Phoenix, something like that. Pretty cool looking, very aerodynamic. Looks like it's going to be something to one of those futuristic trucks that we're going to start seeing on the road along with the Teslas. But it was talking about how, like, a typical truck, they'll usually get, you know, between 6 and 7 miles per gallon. But this Shell truck was getting high 8s, 9s, and even maxed out at like 10 at some points with fuel mileage. We're going to be crossing into Alabama here. Watched a few of Jeff Faviano's videos using that Tesla, and I know I mentioned it a couple episodes ago that I'd be really interested to actually run that as my truck on this career. But I did just buy this truck, just getting to 14,000 miles right now, and I kind of want to go with an old school truck for a while. I mean, this isn't an old Kenworth W900, but go with a old fossil fuel burning truck for now, and then maybe in a year get enough money, pay off that loan, go with the Tesla or something else. Maybe there'll be a new mod out for that new Shell aerodynamic truck. But it was talking about how like most typical loads, you know, over the road, long haul loads are about 55,000 pounds truck and cargo. However, most loads on American Truck Simulator are overweight. I mean, just really heavy things. And not even, I can never find a good load in one of these box trailers like we have ahead of us. This Great Dane trailer ahead of us. And I would like to haul some more, just, you know, box trailers like this, but all the loads are really heavy, actually, compared to things like these rollers and backhoes and stuff like that. There's the H, there's the 8 high. I was having trouble getting into it. I don't know if we have to get to a certain speed or what, because when I was about at 71 miles per hour, I was trying to get into the H a little bit earlier. I was probably cut myself off mid-sentence talking about that. But I was trying to get to that H. I've been trying to do that multiple times driving here and haven't been able to do it, and now finally able to get back into that 8 high. And then we have to slow down again for construction work. Coming up on the exit for Talladega Superspeedway. Talladega, Alabama. Lincoln, Alabama. I'm not sure if I think the speedway itself is actually in Lincoln, Alabama. I think that's what it is. But it is called Talladega. It's probably one of the more famous tracks in all of NASCAR and stock car racing. And we gotta slow down here as we're going by. You can see the track right over there. They got, you know, a little bit of a campground there. Cool little touch. Gotta keep an eye out for a gas station. Probably pull off the next opportunity, just to be safe. You never know when those things will pop up. Let's get back out in A low. Nice sunny day here, and I'm actually gonna pop a picture right now. Yeah, that's gonna look nice. Just as we are gonna have to reduce speed and enter into Georgia. Well, it says reduce speed, but it's still 70, and we're on the Tom Murphy Freeway. This stretch of road is gonna be called as we go through Georgia, Interstate 20. Headed to Wilmington, North Carolina, and we're entering the Eastern time zone. getting into a little bit of a empty area as far as textures go. I think this is the outskirts of Atlanta already. Yep, see the buildings popping up as we get close enough for them to be drawn on the screen. Yeah, I'm not sure what that hang-up is. I don't know what it is with these cities. I mean, what the... Yeah, I really do have a sinking feeling it is Slavin's stuff, and I really do like Slavin's graphics mods, but... Ooh, maybe we should have gotten off there. I was thinking there might be another exit point. Hopefully we can get off. There is gas here in Atlanta, but... You can't tell me that's the only exit. Come on. It's really frustrating when there's only one exit for the whole city on this coast to coast. So you see the gas station, you're like, yep, there it is, and can't get off the freeway. Right here, put an exit right here. Wow, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's trying to load. I mean, something is really hanging up. I do like this stretch right through here. A lot of buildings, a very urban freeway actually. Well, we can get off right here. Oh, a little bit of a late decision. We'll loop back into Atlanta and get some gas. I just don't want to risk going too far out because I don't know where that next gas station is or how far out it is. Nice classic car right there. Wrong blinker on, I think. I do not know what that hang-up is. That is just really irritating. And I didn't have that much trouble with it. Again, like I tested, took off all the vegetation and everything. Didn't notice any differences. Put it back on, didn't have too many of those hang-ups. And now I've had, what, 2 or 3 of those just this episode, so. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's probably, I mean, there are probably a number of mods it could be. A number of great mods on here, and it's always irritating. Alright, where are we going? We're going to a gas station. There's a Circle K up there. One gas station in all of Atlanta. Very strange for America, but in China where I live, that's basically what we have in my town. I mean, about the size of it, well, probably not the size of Atlanta, but pretty big in terms of population, almost the size of Atlanta probably, but probably 2 gas stations I think in my whole town. Alright, let's get some gas here. $2.93, not bad. we're gonna follow the arrows right back out of here. We don't want to get on that little freeway because that one doesn't actually link up with the 20 at this point. falling asleep at the wheel as we come up on construction there. And of course I'm in the lane that has to stop. I kind of didn't even register the signs. Let's get into fourth. What is going on here? I can't get into any decent gear. Guess I have to start in first. I am stopped. Duh. Alright, let's see if we can move over. this long construction zone here. Up on Augusta, Georgia, and then we'll be crossing into South Carolina. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of driving in American Truck Simulator, using it, basically just driving American Truck Simulator, listening to podcasts, listening to, podcasts on YouTube, podcasts on iTunes, other things like that. Big one right now, been listening to World Class Bullshitters. That's a bunch of guys who really into movies and stuff, especially Star Wars, and they've just blown up with the whole Star Wars thing, across the Savannah River into South Carolina. And, they had I was listening today to their High Council, or whatever it's called, and, so Jeff from World Class Bullshitters, a couple other guys from a couple other channels, and talking all things downfall of Star Wars and how basically the boycott of Solo has really got Disney and Lucasfilm and everyone involved on that and pretty ruffled and shaken up, and basically throwing punches at everyone now, throwing around the terms that, hey, if you don't like the new Star Wars, it makes you racist, or you're sexist because you don't like strong female characters, or all that kind of stuff. And it's really interesting to watch. Being a big Star Wars fan myself, I love Star Wars. That's why I'm highly critical of the new stuff, and I know some people really like the new stuff and they like it all, and there's some that are just unconditionally, they like anything Star Wars. They love it. Doesn't matter if it's, quote unquote good or bad. Obviously you have the majority of people who go to the movies who are not, hardcore die-hard Star Wars fans. And of course they're not going to care one way or the other if these movies are good or bad. But it's like, you have to understand, there's a fan base, and the fans are gonna, if you piss off, and, Disney has done this, or Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, who seems to be on her way out, to have, done everything in their power to piss off a segment of that fan base. And then they go out there and say, oh, well, you're pissed off, you don't like Star Wars because you think the new ones aren't good, and you're not going to see, the latest one now, Solo: A Star Wars Story, is bombing at the box office. Oh, you're not going to see Star Wars because you actually hate the thing you say you love. And it's a very strange thing to say, because if you don't really care about something, you ignore it, right? You just ignore it. You're not going to have all this passion and all this, what they're considering vitriol and all this stuff. Why do they care what people think? Well, because they have passion for it. They put a lot of work and money and stuff into their projects. And why do the fans that are, kind of backlashing against it, why do they have such a, strong opinion about things? Well, because they love it. They love Star Wars. And you're critical of the things you love. You care about the things you love. And when you see something that's as beloved as Star Wars and as unique as Star Wars, as, world-changing almost as Star Wars, I mean, it changed the landscape. And I was explaining this to my wife yesterday because, again, she's Chinese. We live in China, and Star Wars is not making a foothold in China because they don't have that same cultural attachment to it, because the originals were never released here. They weren't released here at the time when they exploded, and even if they are re-released here at some point, they're never going to, engage with the younger generation or with people here in China the same way they did with a lot of people in the world in the 70s and 80s. And just that planting. And the biggest issue is now you got these new movies coming out, and they're kind of soiling the Star Wars name with the Chinese audiences. They're like, well, this stuff isn't really that good. It's not that interesting, especially when you put it up against Marvel. the Marvel movies, which are big here. And I was trying to explain to her, it's like, you know, she's, why do you care so much? Why is this such a big deal? Why do people care so much about Star Wars? It's just a movie. It's like, yeah, it is a movie, but it's not just, you know, hey, it's Iron Man, or it's a Batman movie, or whatever, you know, Saving Private Ryan, Dunkirk. It's not just a movie. It launched the blockbuster. It launched what Hollywood is today, and what merchandising and everything that goes around a movie now. Everything's a franchise now, and that's Star Wars. And Marvel's taken that to the next level of making it just this, you know, taking comic books and putting it onto movies and TV. And that's sort of what Disney wants to do with Star Wars, except if they just have no plan, and they're trying to stick their agendas into it, and just a big failure at it, and then lashing out at people who do not agree with their vision. Alright, probably we'll talk about that more in future episodes, try to get a little outline and get my thoughts a little bit more in order, but that's just what I've been doing in American Truck Simulator. I wanted to get off the road right about now. Actually, still have an hour. Yeah, still have an hour, so shooting to get off the road at about 5 p.m. I like to get off the road 2 hours before I have to rest, right at that moment when the driver starts yawning. Went past Columbia, and the rain's coming out now. Got past Columbia, South Carolina. I believe that's the capital of South Carolina. And I was hoping there'd be a truck stop between here and the next town. I really hope there is, because 45 minutes, and so far on the map, I can't see anything. We're going to be getting on the 95 north soon. I do hope there is a rest area, and that's the problem. It's like with the coast to coast, is that some of these areas, the rest areas, are few and far between. So bear with it. Probably just let this thing go into fast forward mode, because we might end up going pretty long on this episode, longer than I was planning. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be a late drive, just going over, maybe even going over our rest limit, and it's just, that's the problem. It's like you really have to plan out these jobs or really look ahead, because I should have probably gotten off at Columbia now looking at it. Alright, we're going to get on North 95 towards Raleigh and Richmond. Raleigh, North Carolina, Richmond, Virginia, capitals of those two states respectively. And just making sure I'm getting on the right ramp. Rain's coming down pretty hard, but the sun is still peeking through those clouds. It's been a lot of that lately as I've been driving. A lot of just this kind of, you know, heavy shower, but then pretty much blue skies and sun as the rain's coming down. So I don't know if it's just because we're moving through it so quickly, because I remember having some nasty weather when I've been driving, just long rain, cloud, miserable looking weather. Well, I'm going to put this on super speed here, and hopefully within the next couple hours I can find a rest area. Not looking too good though on that mini map. Well, this definitely wasn't the plan, to go all the way from Memphis to Wilmington in one shot. It looks like Wilmington takes a lot from Las Vegas here. But it looks like we're going to be able to get this job done right here. But what I might do is I think I'm actually going to rest because it's almost 7 when I should be hitting the sack. So I'm going to turn on the next major road, and get to that little rest area just near where we have to drop off. So I don't have to deal with trying to back up and park this thing while falling asleep. So you guys won't get to see me do a terrible parking job like I usually do. I think it's probably a construction site, and I'd rather not deal with that and go. I mean, those take a long time to park in. Frame rates are awful here in town in Las Vegas, North Carolina. Here, we'll get off right here. Downtown Wilmington. Doesn't look like downtown Wilmington though. It looks a lot like Las Vegas, complete with bison and everything. Kind of a blind corner here. It'd be nice if there was a stoplight. Will do. Alright. Rain has stopped. We'll turn off the blinkers, or turn off the wipers. Does this have our total distance? No, but I think the total distance was almost 800 miles. Not quite going to make the 800 mile club today, the 800 club, but definitely made the 700 club. Making 700 miles in a day, which if you can go 70 miles per hour or more in your own truck, you can make pretty easily. 800 though, that's a different story. Yeah, this is definitely not Wilmington, North Carolina. Another one of those hang-ups, that. Okay, here we are. Nice rest area here. Gonna swing it around, park facing the exit, so I don't have to back out with the trailer. Oops. Constantly killing the engine. Alright, I'm going to take a rest, and I'll actually... Now we're going to take a rest, and that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow I'll drop off the load, and I will see you in about a week, at least in game. So until next time, I'm Martin Wenzel. This is American Truck Simulator. Happy trucking. Goodbye.